Previously on InnRoads Plays.
Previously on InnRoads Plays. So yeah, we the scene opens up on a warehouse district in our fair city of Sapphire Harbor. There's drunken sailors walking around along the cobblestone streets, and dock workers, that sort of thing, are there too. It's a mixture of a lot of the races that you don't normally see in cities like this. So, there's orcs and kobolds and Smurf zeppelins and all sorts that are wandering the city. But our focus isn't on that. We stop because there's normally a pretty bad smell around here, right? I mean, the elementals that the Mages Society puts together. What are the mages called again? The
Workaday Wizards.
The Workaday Wizards. They don't normally contract with this area just because, why are we going to spend hard-earned wizard money on here? No, forget it. And so the smell is pretty bad until we get to one particular warehouse where we have the wafting, pleasing aromas of caffeine, of coffee beans being ground and packed and shipped and imported and stuff. And we arrive at Coffee to Scale, owned by the esteemed Kazim and his wanderers. And right now there was a performance that just finished at our fair establishment here. It's a big warehouse building, and inside has been carved out to allow for performances and slam poetry, other types of music. Everything goes on in this place, and it welcomes all comers, and it's a chance for people to strut their stuff. And in fact, Tambor and his colleagues from before this group managed to have a performance here and maybe get their name on the map somewhat. But none of that. We're not dealing with that right now. We're dealing with the idea that the owner of this establishment is standing on the windowsill from his office, overlooking the warehouse below. And kind of picture it as this is the foreman's office in the warehouse, right? In this converted warehouse. And he's standing there. He's got the window pivoted all the way open. And he's yelling down as, why is there a ruckus going on? Why is there what seems to be a fight going on? And we see our group of heroes as we kind of zoom in, and the camera kind of pops in and has that kind of razzmatazz type thing in background where it splashes odd paint, and we see the first face is Deekin as he's grinning like this, and he's gritting his teeth, and his gleaming teeth are kind of just bling like that in the camera. And what's Deekin doing right now?
Oh, well, he's currently got the last of the fleeing Thimble Zeppelins in a Sssibilant in a armbar, which he administered via flying armbar. So he's held a little bit close to the floor at the moment.
Hell yeah. And then standing next to him, so the camera's kind of watching this. It's got that freeze frame with the little panorama behind it, kind of swirling and moving. And then the music continues, and we look over and we look upwards, and we see, looking down on them, this statuesque figure of a dragonborn. And what does the splash text say here?
Big Grymand,
Grymand,
the Glorious.
Hell yeah. So what's he doing right now? Is he standing at the door?
Well, he was standing at the ready, but since Deekin has it quite in hand, his arms are relaxed at his side, and he's just looking down, yeah. Awesome. We've got this nailed.
Yeah. So I think with the way the camera's kind of frozen from a worm's eye view upwards at Grymand, there's kind of a little bit of a halo from the light outside. The lantern that's lit outside is kind of giving him a halo from behind. And
he's got the dragon locks, they're not quite the tentacles of a nautilin or something, but he's got this, and he does a head toss.
Yeah, and it's epic, right? It's slow motion where they're kind of swirling around, right?
Romantic
and then
music
kind of opens and clamps your teeth. Yeah. And so the camera kind of comes back around, and who do we catch now? Who do we catch next? Is it Tambor or Lady Sssibilant?
I think it's Sssibilant.
All right.
She's casually taking a glass of wine from one of her still charmed fans, taking a sip as she watches the grappling happening beneath.
Yeah. So it's she grabs it as they're standing there and holding it, and then you just kind of gracefully grab it up and take a sip, And so the camera freezes there, right, with your beautiful structured neck as you're reaching back and drinking.
And a slight glint from a canine or a fang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
yeah.
as she smiles,
yes.
holding it to her lips.
Yes. Absolutely. That's perfect. So are you in your full Sssibilant form? I want to make sure the audience remembers. You're in your performance mode, right?
Right.
With glasses and a scarf.
Yes.
That's right.
with
That's
the-
right.
And no
the
traction
glasses and
control.
From the weird hipster effect that happens
Yep.
anytime she comes into Kasim's.
There was a strange hypnotic hipster effect that happens when you come in here. So yeah, so folks who are watching the intro credits will remember the picture that we have of Lady Sssibilant in her full glory. So cool. So yeah, so we have the splash and we have the lengthy name of Lady Regina. And how do you pronounce the name again?
Septima Vitata.
Septima Vitata Sssibilant.
It means no worries because you're dead.
Because that's the thing though, like when it does that, like you see the name and then there's a translation below that says in the Yuan Ti it means no worries, and then like there's a pause and then it comes up into the screen because you're dead, and it's like the text is kind of flying back and forth, right? So then we pan over to our final member of our party and we see who?
Tambor. So he kind of looks up from Deekin wrestling this guy on the floor, and he looks up to Kazim, and he just kind of waves up to Kazim with a big, broad smile. Is like, "Oh no, it's cool, man. It's cool." So it'll freeze there.
Yeah, cool. That totally freezes.
Thumbs
right there.
up.
And there's like
Or just
smoke
hands
kind
up?
of like rising up.
He's just waving up to him like, "It's cool, man."
Yeah. So what does it say along the bottom? Is the text kind of maybe the text does it kind of smoke into view, right?
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like
it just says Tambor the Unrelenting.
I was thinking actually Tambor. He's unrelenting.
yes.
But I like Tambor, the Unrelenting. It's all cool.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
That's good.
Tambor, Unrelenting, but it's all cool, man. Down at the bottom, so good. It's so like so the words kind of like drift up into smoke away from him, and all we see is like him with his tambourine in one hand and him waving in the other, and we kind of like cycle around it as the words disappear, and then we come into the scene. So yeah, so you've got one Smurf Zeppelin, Amazus, who right now is looking up at Tambor and wondering what's going on and thinking he's a friend right now. He's currently charmed. We've got a Sssibilant, how do I pronounce it?
Sssibilant.
A Sssibilant, who's like Sssibilant. I didn't even know what my own characters' names are. Forget it, audience. Stick with me. We'll make it. And so he's
Fewer
like
syllables.
fewer syllables, right? So he's being like grappled by this rather dexterous and rather grappling kobold, and he's trying to struggle to get free. And then maybe in the distance we hear the snores of two other Smurf Zeppelins as they're at their table, just kind of passed out.
You're going to say Smurf Zeppelin for your other crew, and they're just going to be like, what are you talking about?
Look at me, I'm your DM. It's canon. Done. All right, so no, I'm kidding. All right, so what do you guys do next? You've got the proprietor of this establishment looking down, and you've got one person in custody, and the crowd's kind of mulling, maybe starting to look. They're coming out of their enthrallment, and
Well, Sssibilant already had Kazim's attention, right? So do you want to handle him, Patrick?
Yeah, I think that'd probably be the best thing while he's still charmed.
And I've got a charmed guy over here, so we can let Deekin and Grymand handle the non-charmed one.
nice.
All right, so you're close enough. Come on, shall we take this one outside? I'm going to grin at you.
I believe he does need to be escorted from the premises.
You know one thing, I don't want to go outside. I just want to. Wait, I do want to go outside, but I won't go without you. Like your tail is right in my mouth.
So, outside. We're going outside. Hear that, Grymand? He wants to go outside.
So maybe Grymand, you like pick both of them up and you head outside or something like that, right?
And as we leave, I'll nod politely to whomever's near the door. It's like, thank you for the lovely evening.
Yeah, I
Jedi
think, like,
business.
yeah,
Jedi business.
there's probably like a couple of bouncers there.
And I'll just keep grinning like charmingly at whoever I happen, and like I'm sure all the kobolds are like, yeah.
I think there's like a little booth, like a hat check booth, and there's like a whole like nest of goblins back there who are like handling hat checks and stuff. But you notice most everybody's hats are still on. So they're like there and they're like watching from the counter as you're taking the two of them out. I think the bouncer just kind of nods and says, "Yeah, go ahead." So, all right. And Tambor, are you heading in with Sssibilant, or are you heading outside with?
No, so I'll stay with the charms for Neblin.
Okay.
His name was Amazes, so
Yeah.
I'll say Amazes, man. Let's sit down and let's have a chat. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah, Roy. I'm real tired.
You know,
I feel like I was falling asleep there. Maybe it was that. And he looks over at Sssibilant and he says, maybe it was her performance. I don't know.
What'd you think of that song, man?
It was putting me to sleep. It made me sad for some reason. I can't remember why.
I mean, did you hear? You know anything about those two that went missing? Elysian Axe Burner, or maybe Krim, or the Pale?
And I think his eyes like stop and they dart and they look over at you and they go wide a little bit. Like, what do you mean? Do I know anything about him? I don't know anything about it. I mean, I don't want.
You can trust me, man. We're old friends. You know, they've just been missing. I don't know if you had any information. I was trying to find them.
Right.
See, they owe me some money, man. You know.
This what I understand. This sort of thing, I understand. Yeah, it is. Well, I saw. We saw. He like looks over his shoulder as like Grymand and the bundle that is Deekin and Sssibilant are being ceremoniously taken outside. And he looks back and he looks over at you. It's like, right, they came over and they went and they saw Sssibilant, right? And and he looks over at the other two who are still asleep and he's watching them, watching their steady breathing like that. And he goes, right, and they saw the other two over there, right? And so, we didn't want any trouble. And they were looking for a meet and greet. That's all. They wanted to talk with Marshal Ampstick, and that's it. That's all they wanted to do. And we brought him a bit of contract, right? Paperwork. Marshal Ampstick, he loves his paperwork. He wants to keep things in order. That's all.
And where'd they go then?
Well, I don't know if they left the tunnels right after that. Grim was there. He was hanging out, mucking about in there. Doing his little experiments with sounds and stuff. He was there. They two arrived, and then they all three left together.
So, what kind of contract was this? So they were going to do a show for Marshal Amstack, or?
Wow, sir. I don't know particulars. Marshal Amstack, he does his contracts for personal reasons, right? He keeps a roof over our heads, a tunnel beneath our feet, and he keeps the muck off our boots. So, ask any questions. We do well work for him. He keeps us alive. That's all.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for the information. I really appreciate it. Can I get you a drink?
Oh, that'd be the stars and guards. That's what that would be. Yeah.
All right, so I'll mosey over to the coffee bar, get him a drink. Try to keep that charm rolling.
Yeah. Dig it. I dig it. All right, so we flash over to Sssibilant as she's making her way towards the stairs.
Okay, so she'll be kind of casually making her way upstairs to meet with Kashim.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, so Kazim's like, he sends down a couple of his Knoll bodyguards, and so they're kind of, you hear them kind of yapping to themselves in their little Knoll language, and they're doing their weird little sickly laughters, and they see you coming up, and they're all, come, and they turn around and they lead you upstairs to see Kazim. And they hold the door open for you. There's a pair of doors. They actually open them up. And I don't know, what kind of entrance do you want to make when it happens here?
She'll hand the now empty glass off to one of the gnolls and just kind of stroll in. Kazim, darling, it's so good to see us on short notice.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. So, what's the... He like stops mid-sentence for a moment. Situation downstairs.
Nothing to be concerned about, just a bit of band business.
Bad business, alright. You here with Tambor and the others?
Of course, always.
Oh, good.
But I'm afraid I'm looking for a few other band members at the moment. Krim and Elysian and that pathetic excuse for a singer Pale.
Alright. Well, wait, they were here, of course. What's it to you? What does it mean? I wouldn't think that you would care if they were gone.
You know how it is. You have to
It's not suspicious at all.
keep track of the competition, particularly in Pale's case. Lord knows what she'd do to the reputation of bards if she were to go out on her own unsupervised.
Wander.
He gets down from his chair, and all you see is like the top of his head, right? The turban, and is kind of like making his way around this desk, right? It's this waterlogged, highly decorative desk.
I'm imagining that he's a Muppet. You kind of, you know.
Yeah, he's just kind of like making his way around, and he comes around, and he's got his pipe again, and you see like a little flare of light from around the corner, and you see that he's lighting it again, and he says, "Please come have a seat," and he motions over towards a couple of couches that have been lined up next to a big like makeshift fireplace. It looks like this was probably pulled from the same wreck as the desk was, and he snaps a couple of clawed fingers, and he motions for the gnolls to come over and light the fire. He says, "Oh, so I'm surprised you even care that she's gone. I know you don't mind competition, but I seem to remember that there was that argument, the one that you had not too long ago. A bit of a mess, that."
Simply difficulty in getting the elf to recognize her betters. But that's neither here nor there. The important question is, where is she gone and what is she up to? She's been looking into elf musicians, if you can even call it that. I'm curious what scheme she's trying to pull now. No doubt trying to adapt one of their boring forest songs into some new hit or something. Any idea what she might be up to?
It's all rustling leaves and smoking the clouds with those elves, isn't it?
Never a good... You know how the warm bloods are. They never know how to write a true lasting song.
Yes, now you know how to speak to Kazim's cold heart. I've always liked you. Lady Ssibilant. Tell me, really why? Why do you care where she's gone?
In all honesty, I'm much more concerned about Axeburner and Krem. I hate to see talent go to waste, but in truth, one has to prove themselves the best. It's not enough to simply see one's competition, if you can even call it that, disappear without a trace. And I have the feeling there's more to this than simply her wandering off again.
Interesting. Tell me, what do you have for me? If I was to give you information, you know things aren't free here.
And what does Kazim's eye these days?
Oh, when I was young, my heart was an open book. I used to say, live and let live.
And that was good.
The gnolls behind the goat. Yeah, you know he did. You know he did. This ever-changing world in which we live in. You know the rest.
Of course.
I wish to know a little bit about Linka. He's piqued my interest. He's been making a big push for the festival tomorrow. Really wanting to make a splash. I want to know a little bit more about this. Would you be willing to give me information?
In exchange for a good deal.
You always know Kazim provides. I will never cheat on a bargain. Not good for business, not good for Kazim's home. Kazim likes to talk about himself in third person. This makes Kazim happy.
I seem to recall a delivery of fresh ground Alazim coffee that was not quite up to standards the last time I tried to make a deal with you.
You wound me, Lady Sssibilant, and it cuts deep. If that is the case, then of course you can have any replacement bag in the place. Free of charge, of course, and maybe for a song.
I think I'll pass. My ancestors may have enjoyed finding themselves in the dirt, but I do not.
I hope you do not seek to make jabs at my home.
There's nothing I could say that could possibly depreciate the value of such a fine establishment.
Mm-hmm. That's not double-handed at all.
He leans back and he's kind of like puffing on his pipe, and the camera kind of focuses on how the smoke is kind of wafting out from it, and behind it as he's like kind of like that, you hear the gnolls kind of going. And I think that we transition outside for the brief moment. We do a little screen wipe, and we have all we see right now is just like a shifting like scales and stuff in front of our eyes. The audience, that's all they can see. And then like we see a hand kind of coming out and trying to like, who you all could get this thing off me? I just want to leave. What do you want?
Why were you running?
Well,
We started.
me mates got put to sleep. That's what they did. I thought they died. Are they dead? They got some gold. I'll split it with you. Go.
You're awfully quick to turn on your friends.
Right, they've given me enough swirlies to know that I can't trust them far as I can throw them. A good drinking mate, but if they're dead, they're dead. What a waste, right? Are they dead?
No, they're not dead.
No. Well.
Technically, we do not know this. They were still lying on the floor when we left.
Yeah, but you know,
Would you like to
Tambor
go
doesn't
check?
Yeah, no, I know how Tambor operates. He's pretty chill.
He keeps it cool, man.
Yeah.
Right. So it was Tambor what did it, huh?
Was that an actual conversation when it was just had aloud? Because Tambor was part of that conversation, and he's not here.
No.
Yeah, no, I feel like that was an out of character.
Well, no,
aside.
okay. Well, I was feeding off of what Deekin said, like, you know, was it Tambor? So like,
Is that a
yeah,
cat?
so he,
Sorry, I have Siamese cats. They're wild.
actually, we're in an alley, so that's perfect. Oh, keep them cats away from me. You know how filthy they are. Come on now.
Would you like me to hold you higher off of the ground?
Yeah. Well, if you won't mind, that'd be kind of nice, man.
I could also drop you.
Aye, you'll be dropping your friend here. Come on now, let us breathe.
I'm not sure you wish to.
She could try to drop me. I could probably get back up on her shoulder without half a try.
So you could just wrap your tail around his arm.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so okay, back to what's actually going on. Why were you running? Sorry, refocus.
No worries. So how do you kind of approaching it? Are you kind of imposing yourself there, or are you just kind of doing a conversational thing? Good cop, bad cop, bad cop, bad cop?
That's like, he hurt my feelings and my eyes.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually leaning towards being a little bit more aggressive as well. Like,
Okay.
I did flying armbar him, so
Okay.
yeah.
Just so I can kind of tell like the direction of the conversation, and if we need to do rolls, we can. But
Bad
let's see
cop,
where the
bad
narrative
cop.
takes us.
And I'm wrapped a combination of around his neck and like around his arm, and I have very sharp teeth.
And claws, I would imagine.
Got it.
Yeah, well.
So he's like, you know, he's struggling, and you kind of feel him kind of relax a little bit because he's got the two of you overbearing on him. He says, "Look, you got your mate getting passed out, and then I ran for it. That's all. That's all it was. Yeah, nothing personal.
I'm a coward in my own heart, right? That's all it is. I'm just a coward. That's all.
You are a coward. A coward who's lying through his teeth because he started running before his mates fell asleep. As soon as our friend started talking about the missing bards.
Yeah.
Why did you run?
Oh,
If you tell me
we're just paying
more lies.
Oh gosh. Oh, hey, hang on now. You don't need to get all rough here. You know, Shablet's good for it, right? You know, I'm okay. Talk with you.
Are you?
Sure. I got me some shinies here. If you want some gold, I'll be glad to pay you for it, huh?
I want your information. I do not want your gold. This is not a robbery.
Right. Although next off I run, I wouldn't mind having you with me if everything's all squarezies after this, right? If you're interested.
That'll depend very much on how you answer the next few of our questions.
Look, I'm under contract, all right? You know, the boss finds out I spill any beans about contract. You know, he gets awful upset. You know Slash, right? I mean, he's Slash Marshall Amstack. You know, you don't mess with a contract with him. And we had a deal. That's all. We had a deal. And,
I know how Slash is with his contracts, and so I'll tell you what, I'll do you a favor.
Sure.
You tell us why you were trying to run, and we won't mention who we heard it from.
I didn't want to break a contract with Slash. Right. Bob's uncle, let me out. I'm done.
Alright, so do I roll an intimidation check now? And
Yeah,
with the
sure.
threat of
Hold
Yeah,
on.
if you wanna-
Before you do that, Grymand's going to lift, you both up a little closer to his eyes. He says, "You do not comport yourself with honor."
me or the?
The Zeppelin.
Okay.
Sir, you ruined me. I'm trying to honor the contract. That's about the only bit of honor we have down here.
I refer to the spell you cast upon my person.
Oh, I was honestly, I'm fighting. I'm seeing him, and he's like kind of nudging his head over towards Deekin, and I'm thinking, okay, I can duck away from him, and then I see you. I mean, specimen, and I got a little freaked out, scared. You know, I'm a weaselly little coward heart. That's all I am. You know,
Well,
but
So how's that weaseling and ducking handle for
that
you?
was just instinct, right? It's just
So-
instinct.
I just, I'm just looking at him, and I look at Deacon, and I look back at Ash here, and I say, bosses have long memories.
Oh yeah.
Bards have the longest. And I just kind of lower them a little again so they can go back to their private conversation.
Ooh. Boy. All right. he's like starting to think a little bit there. So of the two of you, who do either of you know who slash Marshall Ampstack is?
Okay, can you write that out? Because you just keep saying syllables, and I'm pretty
If
sure.
you jump into
right. Our
journal
handy dandy
area
little notebook.
and locations and people, you'll see
Oh, it's all one word.
/5 strings Marshall Ampstack. Yeah, his nickname is Farm.
Oh,
is 5
Marshall
Strings.
Lamp Stack.
All
Marshall.
glued together real fast.
Well, it's Marshall Amp Stack, like the Marshall
Marshall Amp
amplifiers.
Stack.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
That's better than Ham Stack, which is what I kept hearing.
It's like either one's fine.
It's probably still going to be Ham Stack in the notes.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, I've been down into the Rainbow Tunnels before on stuff with Krim, so
Right. So yeah,
I feel like I'm familiar with this kind of underworld kind of stuff.
Okay.
I seek information everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, Grymand, no.
So when he's talking about contracts, yeah, I mean, Slash is really persnickety about his paperwork and everything.
Is that the technical term?
Yeah,
very technical. And yeah, so he's part of. So this guy is probably part of what's called the Hard Rock Gnome Clan. They employ mostly. I'm gonna try it. Svirfneblin.
Nice.
Got it. But they also employ what are called the speed demons. It's a group of Zvarts and shriekers that are known for their shredding, both in guitars and with axes.
And paperwork.
Yes. He's done with the contract.
Waste disposal.
But they slash his persnickety.
Yes.
And you're saying that the Svirfneblins, the Svards, and the Shriekers?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we talking the second level of graboids? What's a Shrieker?
A type of Svard. So they are the ones. They're more of like the Axl Roses of the group. They're the ones who are like yelling out, shrieking lyrics and stuff like that. The Svart speed demons are the ones who shred on guitar. Maybe not to Alician's, level, but they're pretty good. But they're kind of like a band of thugs, thug band. I don't know. You kind of look at
I
it
like
that
thug
way.
band.
There you
Although
go.
it sounds kind of like a jug band, but
Yeah.
Well, it's important we use the proper nomenclature.
No. Awesome.
Yes.
Pretty darn good. All right. So yeah, so he's wrestling, with his concerns and stuff, and he says, "All right, what do you want now?" He's like looking over his shoulder at you, Deacon. You want to know what we're doing down there, that sort of thing.
That's a good place to start.
All right. Look, they approached us, right? That's it. They approached us, and Grim, he cut a deal. That's all. Cut a deal of payment, and fulfilled that payment, and 5 strings, he did it. He did what they were looking for. They fulfilled a contract to all 3 of them, right? That's what it was.
You're being unhelpfully vague, and I'm getting irritated because these were my friends and they have gone missing, and you're being difficult.
I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to talk to the boss. I'm sorry.
can we do?
I mean, you can do intimidation.
Try for. Well, I was thinking try for an insight just to see if he's even worth intimidating at this point.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Sure.
I'll roll that.
Okay.
Rock on.
Hey, 22.
Slick. Yeah, he's
Nice.
he's a bit shaken, obviously, and stirred, and he's definitely, from what you can tell, he's telling the truth that he doesn't know much more. He might know a little bit more detail.
But the amount of effort that I'd have to put in to get that detail out would not really be worth it for the quantity of detail that he has.
Well, you're in a hive, an area where information can be power and can be powerful in particular hands. So maybe.
Well, I mean, we have power and he's in our hands, so
Yes,
Mine.
that's true.
Your tail.
That's true.
I've got all 4 claws and a tail
Okay.
attached to his body.
And
so
rows and rows of sharp pointy teeth.
rows and rows of sharp, pointy teeth.
Yeah. So
And information about Scar. Do you have a pamphlet on Skarnax?
Hey, open your mouth. Open your mouth. So I think
Say
maybe
Skarnax is the
maybe
greatest.
you're thinking of something that you want to do to like get him to spill whatever else he knows, and maybe there's like a little. I think the camera zooms in on the corner of your mouth where you're kind of like you're going from like a strained grin to like a wicked grin, maybe, as you're thinking of something that you want to do. And I think we'll diagonal wipe over towards Tambor as he's bringing back a couple of ales to a small table where
Finally located the ale.
Amazus is waiting. Yeah, Amazus is he's still kind of like watching you, Tambor, and like
I really want to help you. What can I do? What can I do, Tambor?
So Tambor sits down. He's got a coffee for himself now too, and you can see he's kind of like rubbing his forehead, like he's got a slight headache.
Oh no,
And
are you okay?
I don't know, man. Like, just gonna feel off tonight. Head hurts.
Oh, I'm sure
I'll
I've
be
got something here for it. He's
no,
like
that's
rooting
cool,
through
man.
his stuff.
That's cool. I mean, is there any way? So you said that there's a contract that they made with Slash, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think the little one. What's his
You know
name?
where they keep
Is
those
that-
contracts?
Oh yeah, of course. Slash keeps it down in the tunnels.
Maybe you could show me down there.
Why? I mean, yeah, I guess it could, but look, I don't want you to get hurt or nothing. I mean, I have to make an announcement that you're coming down, and we've got to do a couple of forms. You know, we have to fill out. Man, Slash, he really loves.
I mean,
the
like,
forms.
you know, I mean, because we're old friends and you trust me. I mean, we could do it
Yeah.
without the announcement and without the forms, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm just worried for
Well, how
you.
about this? Why don't you just kind of draw me a little map of how to get there, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no worries. I don't do that. He raffles through his satchel, and he pulls out this kind of like sweaty looking like rolled piece of paper, and he's like, I've been down there so many times. Here, just take mine. He like gives you a little scroll that it's like wadded up and rolled and everything, and it's
So, is there
greasy.
any entrance here where they don't have any guards where we could go? Because I don't really want to bother them. I just need to go in there and make sure that everything's kosher on the contract, man. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, you go through the midden pools, I guess.
okay, and so
Kind of nasty.
that's okay. I mean, is there like a password or something if I run into anybody?
Password. What have No, not really. He just knows everybody. I mean,
Okay, all right.
he kind of. I mean, you got that thing with Monica. I mean, kind of knows your face, so. I mean, you'll be the tallest person down there for sure.
Yeah. No, so yeah,
Golly.
that's cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool, man. No, just kick back, enjoy that drink. I think I need to drink mine too, clear my head.
Oh yeah. I mean, thanks for this. Sort of a mess back there. I mean, you know, you think they're dead? And he's like looking back at them. He's like, what?
The sleeping ones, or looking
Yeah.
back toward where he went out with Grymand and Deekin.
He's dead for sure. I think the kobold's gonna eat him.
Oh, they're not dead, man. They just they got some of that. They just drank too much coffee. It just wore them out.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
love
get
hopped
that.
up, aren't I?
I get that. Yeah, mate. You see a bunch of kobolds hot up on caffeine, and you give them a little bit of spark powder. Oh my gosh, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Just
I
like,
actually
stop
saw one
stop
kobold
talking, man.
rolling
Like, I mean,
around the
I know
town.
we're friends and all, but just I don't know, man.
I think like the camera kind of pulls back as like he continues to talk. There was this one time I saw him roll right around the tunnels, right around the rim. They ran right. It was going so fast, and you know, just kind of
I'm regretting the charm spell as the headache is kicking in.
Yeah. So yeah, so we come back up to Lady Sssibilant, and you know, we're hearing the echo of talk and everything from outside in the warehouses. Things are kind of starting to get to an equilibrium again. You actually hear like the thumping of a drum now. That's obviously not going to help Tambor, but the orc is now taking his turn at the top. So yeah, so you're there with our esteemed host Kazim, and he. All right, so you want to know a little bit more about why they were here, yes?
Indeed. I think I could find you some information about exactly what our mutual acquaintance is planning.
Very well. I'll trust you. And that's just because, well, our cold hearts swim in similar waters, yes? And,
Is he hitting on her?
well, he's like eyeballing her and stuff. No, so what they were doing here. See, Grim, he came by a few nights ago. Wanted to know if there was maybe anyone looking for work, looking for hubbub amongst the other troop leaders, right? And so he's asking around and wondering, and I'm wondering myself why he's so interested. So I bargained with him. I said, well, you could go down and talk with your buddy Slash, and he'll probably give you a little information there. And he says, no, I'm looking for something in particular. He says he's looking for nobility, some nobles or something. Wanted to know if maybe, I don't know, he gave me a few names of some noble houses over in the east side. And I said, okay, I'll send word out, see if anybody's looking to contract. But yeah, he was looking for something particular. He was looking for libraries. He was looking for places where they could find, books and that sort of thing. And so I said, all right, this particular thing's going to cost you extra. And he says, well, maybe I will take a conversation with Slash. And I don't know. Slash worked out something with him, and then Slash worked out something with me. Little triangle action there. And got my payment squared away.
Did they come after they did their last gig at the... I'm sorry, what was the name of the...
Gurgursu or...
Gilgursu. Yeah.
At the Gilgursu house.
That was one of the names I gave him. You're full of surprises, Lady Sssibilant. Yeah,
I do try.
They didn't come back after that. I mean, once they got the list and Krim settled up with Slash, they beat feet. They ain't been back since.
Very well. Well, since we're on the subject of books, I'm actually looking for one myself. What was the... Anyone remember the name of the elf book? The one specifically that went missing?
Histories of Elven Music or something like that.
As the GM rifles through Leslie's notes.
I don't know that I actually wrote down the name of the book.
Nobody tell the rest of the players, but audience, between you and me, that was something that I pulled out.
History of the Elves. That's
all
literally all we have written down is History of the Elves.
right. All right. So, yeah,
But we know that they focused.
Music, that'll work.
They focused on music, so we know it probably had something to do with that.
It's true.
Looking for something on the history of elven musicians, and for reasons I don't feel like going into, the Gilgursu will not be a useful resource here.
Yeah. All right. I can see what I can find. I mean, maybe you can look up these other two families. Maybe they might show a little bit of interest. Not sure, but if you're looking for a particular book, I can always put feelers out there. He reaches over to a little table that's there and it has some papers, stacked neatly, and he pulls an ink and quill and he puts in the name of the book you're looking for. This book, I've heard of it. It has a little spiritual connotation to it, if you know what I mean.
Elves, of course.
All right, and everything is connected. You and me, why, we could be connected, of course. But with the elves, it's something different, I'm sure.
Something less entertaining.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
he
can
looks
find
over
a
at the
very
Noel
nice
and nods.
stepladder.
Oh wow! Hey, whatever you're into, my dear. But we'll get to the personal effects of our transaction later. But, I'll look for this book. And you'll give me some information on Linka, and what else can I do for you?
I'll look into these names. If either of them happens to be looking for a gig, I'll make sure that information gets to you first.
Very good. You're not gonna send it to old Linka, are you? And send it straight to Kazim, huh?
Of course. Of course, should Linka then buy that information and try to hire a band of less renown than my own, perhaps we'll get some sort of tip along the way.
I like your thinking. All right. Pleasure doing business with you as always, Lady Sssibilant.
As always, Kasim.
All right. So
Hiss, hiss.
Really? Really?
he sits back and he puffs on his pipe and nods to the knoll, a couple of the 2 of the 3 gnolls, and they go and they open the door for you to leave.
And Sssibilant makes her way out, passing close by the fire because it's warm,
Right.
snakes.
And so he sits back and he reclines in his big chair, or this sofa with this high back and everything, right? Sits back and we see the camera behind. We see the smoke kind of rising from the couch where he's seated. So who do we flash to next as we diagonal wipe?
Well, as Sssibilant's coming down the stairs, I'm gonna look to Amazus and say, "Hey, man, it was real cool hanging out. Maybe you should, not go down to the rainbow tunnels for a few days."
Oh yeah, man. Oh shoot, sorry, I'm like thinking of your
right.
voice. Right. That's right. I get it. Go out, get one of my mates eating, and then the other 2 they dead at the table.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd probably just get on a boat out there in the canal and go for a ride.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I gotta roll, man. Lady Sssibilant's coming down, so enjoy your drink.
Right. Yeah.
Enjoy your little sail. And as I'm standing up and I turn to Lady Sssibilant, I just hand her the map.
Nice.
And it's really gross, by the way.
Yeah, it's like kind of greasy and stuff.
Came out of his first Nevlin's pocket or bag.
Yeah.
And then I
She
nod
kind of looks
toward-
down at it and
This has
just
Zeppelin on
sighs
it.
and looks at it.
I'll put it back in my bag and I'll kind of start walking toward the door, go see what's happening with the other 2.
Nice. So, all right. So that's a good transition out to the front door. Maybe before they emerge, we're in the midst of the conversation. Deekin has decided that he's going to do something a little more aggressive in his negotiation tactics. So, are we going to see him roll an intimidation check, or what do we? We are. Oh my, that's
another one of those 1 in 400s there.
that's amazing. Roll20 is interesting this Friday evening. So okay.
Do I get experience for rolling a fail?
This isn't Dungeon World. Get out of here. So I think you know what, narratively, I think it makes sense that maybe you're trying to what are you trying to do when you're trying to intimidate him? What do you say?
I think it was just more of the threatening harm, and then after that insight check, I think what it is it was the conclusion of that. He was resistant to our threatening him that entire time.
Right.
And, our insight said he had a little bit more to give, but it wasn't really worth the amount of violence we would have to cause him. And neither of us really felt like causing him that violence. So.
Gotcha. All right. So I think that's when the rest of the group comes out. I think at that point, I think Sssibilant he starts to kind of struggle against it, and I think maybe it's that combination of he's kind of at the end of the information he's willing to give, and then seeing the rest of your group come out, he's like, "Oh no, you ain't gonna put me to dead sleep. No, you ain't." And he starts kind of struggling again to try and get out of your grip. So what do you guys do as you reunite and you see Deekin in a renewed struggle with this little Smurf Zeppelin?
I'm assuming that both Tambor and Lady Sybil look a little bit more pleased with the info that they'd gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually just kind of all at once just completely release him and just scramble up
But Grymand still got him, right?
Grymand's arm to sit on his shoulder. And yeah, he still got him, but now I'm sitting on his shoulder instead of wrapped around this guy's neck and shoulder. So
do you still have a hold on him, Grymand?
I would not let him go without having my final say.
Okay. So he's struggling. He's he thinks he's free, but then he realizes that you've got him by the leather vest that he has on, and for some reason his bowler hat had been on the whole time, and all of a sudden now it just pops off as he runs forward, and then his bowler hat keeps running and then drops to the ground, and then he gets yanked back by Grymand. Oh, come on now, leave it out. Let me go. Well, give me everything I know.
So Grymand is going to keep a tight hold on Esh here, and he's going to pick up the hat and set it back on Esh's head. And he's going to look over to the others, kind of like with the raised dragonborn equivalent of an eyebrow. And be like, should I bother keeping him or...
So I walk up. Well, you're looking over at us, right?
Yeah.
So I've got my tambourine in hand, and I come up and I just go one time right in front of his face. So this is actually a tambourine of charming.
Nice.
And so he needs to roll a save. It doesn't say what kind of save. I guess it's a wisdom save.
Right?
DC 13.
Okay. All right. Let me grab him now that I have a Smurf Zeppelin right here. Get him. All right.
Do I get any kind of a go ahead?
Wisdom save.
Oh, come
Dang, he has been making his wisdom
yeah,
saves
dude.
all night long.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Sssibilant, baby.
So-
what is it? What do you want? Come on now. He's like beating at Grimand's arm a little bit, trying to get off.
Tambor looks down and he's kind of holding his temples. He's like, listen, man, like, I try to be cool. I try to keep this all peaceful, man, but you're really starting to piss me off now.
Well, Tambor, this ain't like you. Come on, it's yourself a bit, right?
I look up
I'm
at
a
Grymand
freaking
and I
coward.
say, I don't want him going to the rainbow tunnels. We need to keep him out tonight, whatever you got to do. I'm done. I'm done.
What are you doing down there? You ain't going down there, are you?
None of your business, coward.
So, Grymand, whatever you need to do, just do it.
No, now, come on, don't kill Sssibilant. Come on now. You don't need to do that. You ain't gonna bite me or something, are you? I'll stay out of the tunnels. How about I know a place where you can get some falafel down the road here. For some people up from the north, they make it real good now. Come on now.
Grymand is actually now curious as to why we shouldn't go down the tunnels.
No, not we. He.
No. He says you're not going down there. Like he doesn't want us to go down there. Right. At least that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I would say.
Let's rock the insight because that's gone so well.
Tambourine of charming, I love it.
It's ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous.
It's a beautiful thing.
Here inside. All right, Grimand's trying to figure out what Esh was hinting at, like if he didn't want us to see something, or if he didn't want us like to actually start something and get him in trouble.
Right, that works. So okay, so I think what it is it's a combination of he knows Tambor and he doesn't want Tambor to get jumped. Like, why would you go down there? And I think that the insight kind of leads you to remember, because you maybe Deekin might have, or Tambor might have mentioned something, or you mentioned before that you kind of know of Slash, that you only go down there by invitation only, or if you're part of the Five Strings, which is the Hard Rock Gnome Clan's like gang affiliation. It's called the Five Strings. So yeah, it's like an invitation only situation, and he's got two things going on. One, he doesn't want Tambor to get hurt because he kind of knows Tambor, and the other one is that he doesn't want to get roughed up because he said that it was cool to go down there.
Okay.
Maybe he could invite us out of play.
I don't think he's high enough up, honestly. The way they're behaving, they're very minion-y.
Oh, yeah.
Pathetic minion-y.
Hey, I'm right here. Already said me I'm a coward. I got it. I get it. I am, but come on now.
Grimand's still holding, and he looks at you two and says, "Where is the other?"
Oh, he's having a drink back there. He's fine.
You actually see him exhale a little bit, like,
Right, okay. That means you don't need to eat me, right? You're not going to eat me, kill me, something like that. You're just going to let me go. That's all.
Did you stay above ground for the next day or two? Yeah. No need for eating.
No, I don't want to be up above ground during the day. You know we hate it.
I do get that, but I mean, you can find some house to hide in. You just don't go down into the tunnels.
Why? Guys,
Sssibilant's gonna walk up to him and just kind of give a little snaky smile, flicker tongue, and say, "Perhaps you should just find somewhere to spend the next day and evening above ground. Perhaps a nice dark inn." And I'm casting suggestion.
Nice.
Which I think means another wisdom saving throw.
Another wisdom
It does.
saving throw from our friendly
gonna spell this guy to
Smurf
death.
stuff.
Yeah, but the dude can't focus right now.
He's pretty screwed over. I'll give him a disadvantage. Well, it doesn't matter. He fails. So yeah. You know what? I could go over to Vinny's place. Now you guys know Vinny. I mean, you guys don't know Vinny, and you know him. He's always got these weird little powders he puts together. He mixes them all the blues and fudge. Yeah. I could go there. Go there and hide out. Look, you're not gonna spread around that Sssibilant did something that would be untoward for Five Strings, right? I mean, this is my family, right? You aren't gonna mess them up or anything, right?
Tambor is walking away, holding his temples.
Grymand states, "I am unaware as to who this Sssibilant is."
Sssibilant, that's me. Sssibilant, one
He
you've
did fail his wisdom save, didn't he?
Yeah. All right. Look, I'll go, but just don't.
Maybe
don't
you
raise
should
it, don't raise
gather
it
your
like this.
friend.
Yeah. Amazes, he's in there. Yeah, you didn't rough him up, right? Hey, Tambor, good friends, right? I mean,
Yeah, man. Yeah. Whatever.
okay. And he glances over at Deekin. He's like, "Boy, he's in the mood, ain't he? I ain't seen a dark cloud on him for the past couple of weeks with old Monica, eh? I'll just go." he stuffs his hat down like a little bit further, and he stuffs his grubby hands into his pockets and heads over towards the bar and heads inside. "I amazes, we're going to Vinny's on me." Oh, that's great. Can we bring Tambor?
How long does the guy sleep for?
I think maybe as the group is kind of gathering and maybe heading off down the little cobblestone street there away from Kazim's, I think the camera fades down into the street, right, and just merges into the ground until we get into these kind of cavernous looking tunnels beneath the city. And we come across this place is very dimly lit. It's a big looking kind of almost like an arena, not really an arena, not that big, but a big almost amphitheater, let's say, and has a rim all the way around it. And on the inside of it, it looks like it might have been a cistern of some type, but it's long ago drained away, and all it has is the heavy stones that make up the floor. And then we get down to this stone, and then we look upwards, and we see up on a stage of some kind, we see a short figure with a real tall hat, like a stovetop hat, right? And we see him with this big guitar, and he strums a couple of notes, and it's the opening of "Live and Let Die" as he's starting to kind of play that song.
Nice.
And we see smoke kind of coming up from his cigarette as he's playing, and then he looks up, and we see the face of Slash Marshall Amstack as he starts to sing the opening tune, and then the music carries, and then the scene fades to black, and then the credits begin to roll. And that'll bring us to the end of our part 2 of session 2. And I think we've got a direction for our band of where they're going to be going. So
Yeah, that's stuck in my head for the rest of the night now.
yeah, no worries. Courtesy of your friendly neighborhood dungeon master.
Well
Glad to
done.
be of service.
So you know what? Huge thanks to all you. I mean, you guys are amazing. I'm really enjoying this group. All the groups so far have been fantastic. It's the risk of doing trilogies that you want it to go further, but
Trilogy creep.
Yeah, exactly. Scope creep. That's all our project managers.
One shot creep.
There you go. Yeah, as a member of the Dungeon World 1-shot/3-shot. Yeah, I think
somewhere in that alleyway, the bruised and beaten Peter Jackson is just going.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like when the credits the credits are rolling and you get the build of the song and it's like da 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 da, and you see like Peter Jackson getting pummeled by Samuel L. Jackson. Coins are flying up into the air in slow motion. It's kind of like
but
the
then
burnt.
Somebody's got to show up and help him. Come on.
Sure, why
Can't
not?
leave PJ in a...
Let's see, Phil
Who would help
Jackson.
PJ?
Phil Jackson shows up, his broad shoulders like in the silhouette in the alley, and
So I was gonna go for Steven Spielberg.
No, you gotta stick with Jackson.
Tito Jackson.
You gotta stick with Jackson. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. That works.
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson shows up with the tails, the coat with tails, and his hair. That's perfect. But no, you know what? Thanks so much, you guys, for being here. It's been super awesome. Thanks a lot, Leslie, for playing an awesome Grymand.
He is glorious.
He is glorious. Jason Wood for your wonderful work as Tambor. As we're starting to see something change. He's not drinking. He's not happy. What the hell is going on here? We'll have to find out.
Took us to a coffee place. What the heck, man?
I know.
Sobered him up just by the smell.
Buzzkill. Patrick playing Lady Sssibilant, man. Fantastic negotiation powers and claiming the stage. I like the little ninja notes going on behind in the back. I love that. And then last but not least, our bobbing kobold Deekin, played by the wonderful Alistair. Thanks again for bringing this character to life, man. I mean,
Master of the acro grapple.
Yeah, acro grapple, baby. So for me, Jeff Romo, your Dungeon Master, always a pleasure to be here and to be around wonderfully creative individuals. And this is for InnRoads Ministries. We're doing InnRoads plays, All-Bards, all week, or however long the series is going to last. And if you want to know more about InnRoads Ministries, take a look at the show notes, inroadsministries.com. You can also visit us on our Facebook group, facebook.com/Game Store Profits, and you'll be able to find us there. But hope you enjoyed the show. For the time being, go out there, grab a band of your own, get into a table, lay down some music, have some fun, make some friends. Thanks for being here. We'll see you around the corner.